This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Audible.com. Get your free audiobook at audiblepodcast.com/TYT. All right, I want to start off with the fact that the Chinese continue to kick our ass.
Okay.
All right, and the
Fun place to start.
The latest thing that they're kicking our ass on is education. Now, this is something that we've always suspected, except now we have actual numbers to back it up. All right, so there was a study done by the Program of International Student Assessment, and what they did is they looked at basically the level of achievement in reading, math, and science among all different cities in all different countries, okay?
Yep.
And what they found is Chinese 15-year-olds in Shanghai are at the top of the list.
Of course.
They blow everyone out of the water. So you would think, oh, well, I'm sure the U.S. is coming in at a close second. Not even close. We didn't make the top 5. We didn't even make the top 10. We fail.
Epic fail. Okay, all right, so give me the list. I'm fascinated by the list.
Okay, so when it comes, right now at the top we have Shanghai. Coming in at second is Finland. Coming in at third is Korea. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The Koreans are going to be so mad that the Finnish and the Chinese beat them. Mm-hmm. They're going to get amped up. Whereas this is going to be the reaction in America. They're like, what? What? We lost? Okay, pass the Doritos.
No, we won't. Mm-hmm. Our reaction is, we're the best.
No, that JR is absolutely right about that. I don't think this is going to change anything. You know, NPR did a really great piece on this where they had education experts come in and talk about our education system and all of the things that we're doing so wrong and whether or not we're going to switch things up and change things. For instance, teachers are getting paid nothing. Okay, I mean, sure, $30,000, $40,000 a year, that's not nothing, but it's still a ridiculously low amount of money, especially when they're responsible for educating our youth, right? Is that going to change? No.
Can I just say real quick, the average guy in the top 1%, based on the Obama-Bush tax cuts that are going to pass now, will get, on average, $70,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Okay. They're going to get nearly double an average teacher's salary in tax breaks next year. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's our priorities. That's our priorities. And, I wonder why China's kicking our ass. But JR and Anna are 100% right. If you tell Republicans that, they'll go out on Fox News and be like, oh yeah? We're number one! But wait a minute, the facts are, no, I don't care about the facts. Do you hate America? America's always number one, yeah.
Not only that, Cenk, Republicans would argue that one of the main reasons why our education system sucks is because we're wasting public education on the masses.
Of course.
And that education should only be for the elite. However, in China, they don't think that way. They emphasize education for all, okay? Not just the elite. Another thing that this study found is that private education is no different than public education. Okay, when you take the socioeconomic factor out of it, students perform exactly the same. So while these Republicans are like, oh, let's privatize education, make it for the elite, screw you, we have the facts, it doesn't work.
By the way, if you've ever studied the history of education, whenever a country begins to do public education, it takes off like a rocket. Okay, it happened in Scotland, and all of a sudden these geniuses all coming out of Scotland, Adam Smith, Hume, et cetera, et cetera. Why? Because they did public education earlier. Mm-hmm. So the Adam Smiths and the Humes existed in Scotland already. They just never had the education. But when you don't just give it to the lords and you don't just give it to the royalty and you give it to everybody, it allows more people to come up and it improves your economy.
Exactly.
It happened here. And of course, the most famous example is the United States of America. Right? We didn't get those founding fathers out of nowhere, okay? Mm-hmm. And of course, they pushed for public education in this country, the founding fathers did. And so when the Republicans go to kill public education by wanting to do privatizing, et cetera, look, I'm beginning to think, and I color me naive here for not coming to this conclusion earlier, that it's part of the class warfare.
Absolutely.
You know, so they think, look, we don't need all these people getting rich, okay? We need workers, right? And we need the rich to get even richer. And how would you do that if it was stratified? If they got to go to the best schools and they were private schools, and others that didn't have money got crunched and crushed in the system, well, then we win, they lose. It's our secret class warfare, and these suckers haven't caught on yet. And look at me, I'm barely catching up. So I mean, I don't know if they're that evil. I don't know if they're that nefarious. I don't think they came to an overall conclusion in a room, right? But that has been the effect of their policies.
Absolutely. And what's so interesting about that is they claim to be the patriotic individuals, right? The ones, the ones that are so American and they're pro-America, and Democrats are anti-America. That's always their stance, right? But the reason why our founding fathers established this government is because there wasn't supposed to be class warfare. Okay, there wasn't supposed to be a huge division between the extremely wealthy and the poor, and that we're headed in that direction.
Yep. And, you know, people will make the argument, oh, back then only property people could vote, et cetera, right, at the time. But you have to understand, that was the whole point of the country, was that it was a revolution to change the way things were, right? And to expand upon people's rights and to give more and more people rights. It was a revolutionary idea that it wasn't just the royalty who would make decisions, right? Mm-hmm. And they wanted that kind of democracy to progress and to flower, et cetera, and not to go back to the royalty. But that's the thing with conservatives. I mean, remember, the conservatives were against the revolution in the first place, right? I mean, look, I know it's different people. It's like comparing the Cowboys in the 1970s and the Cowboys of today. It's two different teams. I get it. But at the same time, the frame of mind is not that different. Protect tradition, protect the upper class, you know, and fight against any change. But the most critical part of what binds them together, whether it was the guys in this country, and there was a whole third of the country that was with the British, and a third that were in the middle, of course, as you remember from elementary history class. And the thing that those guys wanted was protect the establishment.
Right.
And what do our conservatives today want? Protect the establishment. And the establishment are the powerful and the rich, right? And look, so far in American history, we have won and they have lost, right? And that's why this country has gotten better and better. And we have won a lot of battles, whether it was civil rights, whether it was the right of women to vote, et cetera, as you go down the chain. Right now, we're losing, right? But I have long-term faith. I really do, right? But it gets tested every day. And just know what you're up against. Anna, we got a new sponsor, Audible.com. Go.
I love Audible.com because they have over 75,000 titles to choose from, and you can download on both your iPod or your MP3 player.
They're actually the largest provider of downloadable digital audiobooks, so you can choose any book you like. And if you go through us, you actually get a free audiobook of your choice, which is a pretty good deal. So go to audiblepodcast.com/TYT.